Hello, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever I feel like this week. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This week what I'm doing is a little thing I'm calling artist history. Now, if I like artist history might be a thing that sticks around for a while, because I'm finally putting my degree to use. Well, I don't have the degree yet, but I'm finally putting what I study to use. That is music. Some of you may not know, but yes, I am a music major. Yeah, I like being broke. What about you? No, JK, like, literally, music majors are so awesome. You're some of the nicest people. There's a lot of potential in this field. It's just you gotta know what you're doing, and I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm doing ever. But today, what I want to do is I want to talk about someone near and dear to my heart, Sergei Rachmaninoff. Now, I didn't know him personally, and I have no connection to him whatsoever. The closest thing I have that I would find related to him is my Russian nesting dolls. I don't know if you can see the little ones back there, but they are very cute. But yeah, pretty much what happens is, and we go through this all the time, you can ask Caitlin. I hear a song by an artist and I go, wow, that was so deep. This artist moves me so much. This person is my favorite artist. This person is my future husband. And that is what happened with Sergei. Okay? I have been in love with Sergei Rachmaninoff for the past few months. Prelude in C# minor. Okay, that really hit me. Okay, that hit home for me. I don't know why, but it was something about the way he did it. I was like, wow, I'm in love. So now what we're gonna do is artist history. Like I said, if we like it, it'll stick around. I might do more artist history. It won't always be on some old guy from way back when. My next artist history, actually, which is in the works right now, is Oliver Tree. Sorry about the hair, by the way. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so cute. I'm gonna be like your maestra today, and I put on my blazer, and I put on my cute little music note dress, and then I was, like, curling my hair, and I was like, man, this side of my head just does not cooperate. So sorry about that, but back to the matter at hand. How is artist history gonna work? Artist history is going to be me talking to you about some facts about the artist, what they did growing up, you know, how they came up with these songs, some of the songs they came up with, and then at the end, I'm gonna run you through an analysis of their music. So yes, I did. Yes, I did. I took that music degree and I put it to work. Thank you, Dr. Barnett. You a real one. He taught me how to write Roman numerals in. But yeah, let's hop right into it. Who is Sergei Rachmaninoff? He's dead now. Spoiler! So the first really important thing about Sergei is bro was literally born as a joke. He was born on April 1st in 1873 in Oneg, which is in Russia. I don't know really where that is, but I'll probably pull up a map and put it up there for you somewhere so you can see it. He was born April 1st, new style. I don't know what that means. I guess they have like an old style of dating in like Eastern Europe. Maybe they didn't like really get around to like the calendar that we like popularly use, because I don't think they were part of like the Roman Empire or whatever. So when Julius was on his when Julius was on his you know what, adding months in, it kind of just didn't click for them in Russia because, well, you know, they weren't part of it. But he was an amazing pianist, guys, really. Sergei Rachmaninoff was an amazing pianist, and as a result, a lot of the piano in his pieces, it's just so complex. That's one thing that I love and hate about him. Like, it feels like all of his piano is kind of just like a flex, you know what I mean? Like, he's writing his pieces and he's like, yeah, and the pianist needs to be able to do this, that, and the other, and it's like, not everyone is you, Sergei, okay? Not everyone can do that. But yeah, he was the middle child of 6 children. I believe that was 3 boys and 3 girls, including himself. And he began playing piano at the age of 4. And he was really good at playing by ear. So a lot of people in his family were pretty good at piano. I believe it was his paternal grandfather who was a pianist, and he studied under John Field. John Field. That guy is pretty well renowned too. So, per the request of his grandfather, he studied under a recent St. Petersburg Music Conservatory graduate, Anna Onatskaya. Man, why do they have complicated names in Russia? Not to offend anyone, I love Eastern Europeans. Oh my god, Eastern European men, hello. But their names are so complicated and hard to say. And he later dedicated Spring Waters to Anna. So here's the thing. Technically, back in the day, his family was, like, wealthy. Or like they would be considered wealthy, I guess. But the thing about it was his dad was kind of really bad with money. So to my understanding, he was like in the military, and I guess back in the day, like you got paid like really well to be in the military back in Russia. And then his dad was like, anyway, what if I formed a gambling addiction though? And they lost like 4 of their 5 houses that way, to my understanding. Yeah, they lost 5 estates because he was so badly in debt, which after the first estate, you think you'd be like, oh man, maybe I should quit, but this was back in the day. Maybe they didn't have like therapy or like a rehab for gambling addicts. So, as a result, they lost all 5 of their estates, right? And so his whole family, that's him and his 5 siblings and his parents and himself, and Anna had to move into a flat. Yup, they all lived in an apartment together. And then his dad, like, f***ed off to Moscow on his, I didn't curse. And then his dad, like, just, like, went off to Moscow and was like, okay, you guys, y'all enjoy this tiny little place. I got my military stuff to do. So, yeah, at age 10, his dad left for Moscow. And, okay, his sister died and he was arranged to study at the St. Petersburg Conservatory of Music, just like Anna had. And this was like, I think this was the first major death for him. He probably didn't take that too well because, well, he was 10 years old, and I believe it was his older sister who died. And then, literally 2 years later, at age 12, his older sister died too, his other older sister, and then, you know him, he was like, it doesn't even affect me at all, like, I'm so cool, I don't really care that my sister died or whatever, and it was pretty obvious that it was taking a toll on him. So his grandmother started taking him to church after this, to my understanding. After the death of his sister, they went on a retreat, him and his grandmother, by the Volkhov River. I think that's how you say that. I'm gonna offend everyone who ever watches my videos who knows how to speak Russian. I'm learning, guys. I'm gonna learn one day because Zarya speaks Russian. Guys, I'm not an Overwatch addict. I'm not. So he kind of did really poorly in his classes because, I don't know, maybe 2 of your sisters dying would have some sort of effect on you, you would think. And it didn't seem like he got in trouble for that because it said that he tampered with his report cards, but I can't find anywhere, like, if his parents were like, oh my goodness, you can't be doing this, right? But yeah, he tampered with his report cards, and his grandmother took him to a retreat by the Volkhov River. I hope that's how you say that. Since he was doing, like, really bad in school, and he was basically failing out at this point, he was at risk of being removed from the conservatory, and so his mother asked his cousin Alexander for some advice. Now, Alexander's a pretty cool guy, because he studied, I believe there's gonna be so many Alexanders in this story, there's like 3 or 4 of them, but I believe that this one is the one that studied under Tchaikovsky. But before that, he studied in Moscow under a guy called Nikolai Zezervev. See, like, how do y'all do this? Like, I need someone to come and teach me Russian because this guy Nikolai's last name is literally ZV. Like, how am I supposed to say Z and V back to back? Nikolai Zevervev. Zevervev? But, because I'm adding an E, I feel like. But whatever. So he lived with Nikolai for 3 years, and the thing about it is Nikolai was not a fan of composition. Nikolai said that composing was a waste of a good pianist's talents. And I don't know why Nikolai is a hater like that, but I don't know, because it's gonna turn out that Nikolai was pretty darn wrong, because Rachmaninoff is like, he's my king, but he's just widely regarded as like one of the best writers from the Romantic period. He's the last great Romantic like composer to my understanding, but hey, who am I? I'm not Nikolai, so I didn't study piano for all that long time. But so while he was studying at Moscow, he met another friend named Alexander. I forgot to include last names. I forgot how many Alexanders I would be running into, but I will try my best to clarify to you guys if it's Alexander the friend or Alexander the cousin. But after graduating from the lower levels, he studied under his cousin Alexander, who, you may know this guy, he studied with Liszt. Yeah, Alexander studied under Liszt, and again, Rachmaninoff just comes from this great line of composers, y'all. It's like, this dude just, he had it all lined up for him, and I feel so bad because he's gonna go through so much in life. He doesn't know it yet. He's probably about, well, right now we're talking about 15, I believe, years old. I don't want to be lying to y'all. I'm literally gonna do the math. Hold on. I'm so sorry. He's like 20 almost, so... Yeah, at this point, he's almost 20. But yeah, in 1892, he wrote a one-act opera called Aleko. And he did that in 7 days. I'm pretty sure it was part of some school project. And do you know who it was praised by? You may know him. The man, the myth, the legend. He wrote Swan Lake. He wrote The Nutcracker. Well, he didn't write them, but he wrote the music for them. Tchaikovsky. Yeah. He got praised for an opera, a one-act opera that he wrote in 7 days by Tchaikovsky. Huge, right? I don't know if it was that huge back in the day. I don't know how big Tchaikovsky was. Maybe we'll have to do an artist history on Tchaikovsky too. We'll see. But yeah, that's huge, bro. And he received advice from the Tchaikovsky himself after this. Like, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy. Tchaikovsky literally is him. Like, he just is that guy. Okay, so during one of his summers, he moved in with his uncle, and there was this girl across the street who, like, Rachmaninoff was kind of into, and he was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna write her letters. And a lot of his early works actually are like, it's thought to be dedicated to her. But he was like, I'm gonna write this girl letters. And the parents banned him from writing to her. So he's like, fine, I'll write to her older sister then, Natalia. So he writes to her older sister. It doesn't end up working out. You guys are gonna be so mad when you find out who Rachmaninoff married. I was so mad when I found out who he married, but it's okay. Well, we move, okay? Okay, so, like, Nikolai, the Hayden guy from earlier, he low-key kind of got the first laugh, but he definitely didn't get the last one. So, the release of Rachmaninoff's Symphony No. 1 in 1897 was so bad that Rachmaninoff had to go to therapy for it. Okay, listen. Whose fault was it? I'm not quite sure, but the word on the street was the conductor was drunk during the performance, so... But also, like, come on, concertmaster. Are you for real? You're gonna let the conductor ruin this for you? You are the first violin, you are the concert master. Listen, I've been in concert master position before, okay? I don't care. If my conductor is drunk, I'm taking over. Okay? That's just how it's gonna work. Come on. You had one job, okay? One job and you failed, okay? Whatever. But he was so upset with how poorly it did, he literally just destroyed the piece after. Like, he burnt it, dude. Fortunately, some pieces have been preserved, and so we can hear it now today. And honestly, after listening to it, it's not bad. Like, maybe it was the conductor's fault, okay? Maybe it was. But also, you're gonna see that, like, Rachmaninoff has, like, horrible ways of dealing with his anger and depression. And that's kind of, I feel like that kind of drew me to him, because me and Rachmaninoff, we both are really bad at dealing with our feelings. Not to expose me, but yeah, he just wasn't great at, you know, handling those emotions and those feelings. But one of the great musicians at the time, César Coué, César Coué, César Coué.
Name Sergei Васильевич Rachmaninoff, Anna Arnatskaya, Alexander Silotti, Nikolai Zverev, Cezar Antonovich Curie.
César Antonovich Curie. César Antonovich Curie. So, after hearing that, I don't know why I didn't listen to that before I did this, guys. But César Antonovich Curie, who is he's a great musician, but he literally tore into Rachmaninoff for that, saying it would be enjoyed in a music conservatory in hell, okay? And so, yeah, but Rachmaninoff heavy coped after all of this. He even wrote that he was not affected, but depressed that it didn't please him. My king, I know it hurts. I know it hurts, okay? Come on, we need to suffer together, me and him. We can push through it. We can push through it. So pretty much after this, he was depressed for like 3 years, which is no joke, but he kind of did some writing, but not that much, you know, it was kind of just like, you know. And during this time, what he was doing for money was conducting for opera. And he struggled between performing and composing and performing and composing. It's a struggle for all of us, but eventually he was known internationally after conducting in London in 1899. And during this time he did some composing, and he wrote a song called Fate, which low-key kind of goes hard. Okay, so he was still depressed when he came home, and his aunt arranged for his literal favorite writer to visit him, and that didn't really work, okay? And so in 1902, I hate to tell you guys this. I don't want to tell you guys this because y'all are gonna be like, huh, what? Okay, but then I'm gonna even... Okay, look. In 1902, he married his first cousin. I know, yes, it's already frowned upon. His first cousin Natalia, I know, it was already frowned upon back in the day, but I mean, yeah, and they were both part of the church too. They were both part of the Russian Orthodox Church, and that was just like, that was a big no for them. And so, yeah, but his cousin Alexander still pulled up, and he was his best man. And they had a baby, Irina, in 1903. Bless her heart. Hope she was born without any deformities. Okay, now, I don't want to justify this, but all I'm saying is Rachmaninoff's my boy, okay? I know that he wouldn't have done it, but he was depressed. He was depressed. He married his first cousin because he was depressed, okay? She took advantage of him. Okay. I'm crazy, y'all. I'm not posting that on the internet. I am not defending a man. I just defended a man who married his first cousin. That's some wild Listen, I'm a big Rachmaninoff simp. I don't care what you say. Okay, so in 1910, he became the vice president of the Russian Musical Society, and the president of which was a member of the royal family. And if y'all know what's coming up, you know that this is kind of an unfortunate time to be a member of the royal family in Russia. Because in 1917, as the Russian Revolution began, Rachmaninoff's estate was confiscated by the communist authorities. And plus, you know, he already had that kind of like relation with the royal family, so he kind of got a bad feeling when all of this was going down. So he was like, maybe we should kind of get out of here. So he spent some time in Crimea, and in 1917, his performance in Yalta, August. Stop. His performance in Yalta, it was in September though. But his performance in Yalta was his last in Russia. And after that, he was invited to Scandinavia to perform. Now he's like, okay, this is a great opportunity. I'm gonna use this to get me and the whole family permits to leave the country. And they left the country on open sled, bro. They was dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, bro. Well, I don't know if they're a sled and a sleigh are the same thing. Listen, I'm in California, y'all. It don't ever snow here. I forget that like sleds and stuff are like legitimate methods of transportation. So when I saw that, I was like, he left the country on a sled? Like, come on, tell me a better way to flee. That's like the best way I can imagine. So they arrived in Stockholm on Christmas Eve, and then after that, they moved to Copenhagen, and then in 1918, the whole family traveled to America. So in America, what did Rachmaninoff do? Okay, he did the first thing that every good musician does. He hit the studio. Hey! He started making recordings that you can actually still listen to this day, I'm pretty sure. I really want to hear a recording of Rachmaninoff playing. I have not looked into it yet, but I will do anything to hear a recording of that man play. So the family needed a way to make money, so he started touring, and since he started touring, you know, composing was kind of put on the back burner. He also felt like a little bit of like sadness in leaving his home, so he probably wasn't like really feeling it, you know, in his heart to compose. I have those moments, man, where I'm just not feeling it, you know, in my heart, I just can't be composing, you know, or I'm having those moments right now. If you guys don't know this, I'm actually filming this at a pretty bad time in my life, but hey, things probably get better. I mean, Rachmaninoff got married, so I probably will too, right? But he completed Piano Concerto 4 and 3 Russian songs during this time. That's the title of it, 3 Russian songs. That's the title of his work, yes. He made friends with some other Russian artists, befriending this guy named Vladimir Horowitz. And his tour in 1932 was his 40th anniversary of his debut as a pianist, and many of his friends like congratulated on him on this. They had like a whole big celebration. They were having a jolly little time. Okay, those boys, especially his friends who were also from Russia. They were like, oh, hi. Unfortunately, as he was getting older, his health began to decline. He suffered from a list of illnesses. Let me see if I can pronounce these right. That one is sclerosis, not scoliosis. I don't know the difference, but this one looks like sclerosis. Lumbago, neuralgia, high blood pressure, and headaches, which, same, bro. Not for most of them, but the headaches, yeah, I suffer from those too. And his doctor advised him to move to a warmer climate, so they ended up moving to Beverly Hills, California. They lived close to his homie Vladimir Horowitz, and Vladimir would come over and play some piano with Rachmaninoff, and he would invite Stravinsky to dinner, where they all chatted about the political climate in Russia, which, by the way, the absolute, like, this man just knew everybody. I guess they were the celebrities back in the day, like, because, like, celebrities, like, nowadays, like, pretty much only hang out with other celebrities, right? But it was just, like, Rachmaninoff knew Tchaikovsky, he knew Stravinsky, like, oh my god, he knew everyone, and he studied. Isn't this just awesome? Like, he just knew everyone. Y'all just witnessed a California earthquake. That. What was that? So after doing a performance at the Hollywood Bowl, of all places, he decided that the next tour would be his last, and after that he would just focus on composition and, writing his own work. The tour was received really, really well, and he and his wife got naturalized by the president, I'm pretty sure. And they were made, natural American citizens. He probably didn't hear that they were first cousins, because, that's kind of, but whatever. And he, like I said, was intending on composing afterwards, but after that, he was diagnosed with pleurisy, I think. And shortly after that, he was diagnosed with melanoma. His last performance as a concert soloist was in February in Chicago, at Chicago University, performing Beethoven's first piano concerto and his Rhapsody on the theme of Paganini. His last recital ever was in Knoxville, Tennessee later that month. And he ended up dying, what is said to be 2 days before his birthday, but they say he was hospitalized 4 days before his birthday. And he never received letters from new composers in Moscow. They had written him letters kind of like as a thank you thing or something from the Moscow Conservatory. And he wanted to be buried with a lot of his teachers and colleagues in Moscow. But because he was a naturalized American citizen, he could not, and he was laid to rest in Valhalla, New York. And the ops never stopped coming for you, okay? Because even after his death, okay, a poet named Marietta Shagan Yan or whatever was coming at him, publishing letters that they exchanged between each other. She published 15 letters. They corresponded over 5 years. And while the nature of their relationship wasn't really it was kind of romantic, but kind of not. We can't really tell, and then she didn't really comment on it. But why are you exposing his DMs after he died? That's the most disrespectful thing you could do, okay? Another fun fact about him is actually, I believe it's Vladimir Putin who tried to get his remains from America, but we kind of just said no. There are people who have said that Rachmaninoff is a citizen of the world, not of Russia or America. So now we're going to move into the section of artist history that I'm going to call Jonas Thoughts, because I'm just going to sit here and talk to you about some thoughts I have about, the composer and what I think about him. Number one, I think he's kind of hot, okay? My bad, he's kind of bad, okay? What can I say? He is literally the background on my iPad. I'm literally going to show you. I love him. He's literally my everything. He was tall and he spoke Russian. My standards are so low, y'all. That's not true. That's not true. But he was cute. What can I say? He was said to be and I'm going to pull a quote here. A cold and aloof Stravinsky once called him a 6.5 foot tall scowl, okay? I don't know what that means, but he probably thought that he was hot too. Oh yeah, that's right, I've got it here. His music was banned in the USSR in 1931 with writings saying that the music is by a violent enemy of Soviet Russia, Rachmaninoff. I don't know how Rachmaninoff was a violent enemy of Soviet Russia. I don't think he was pulling up on the front lines of any war. Y'all can't do this communism. He was just kind of I'm not really, feeling all this communism. And he left. I don't know how to run a country or anything, and I won't say that communism is bad. I won't say capitalism is bad, but I will say the man was just trying to peace out, okay? He just said, I'll go elsewhere. Apparently while giving a recital in New York, a violinist, Fritz Krelzer, I don't know how to say that, it's German, lost his pace in the music, and he asked Sergei where they were in the music, and he responded, Carnegie Hall. He's funny too. Like, oh my goodness, he was like hot and handsome and funny. Like, oh my goodness, we would have been so good together. Unfortunately, he died. I think he died in like 1943. I forgot to tell y'all what year he died. Ooh, my bad. And Tchaikovsky wanted him to conduct one of his pieces, but he died before it could happen, which was really unfortunate. And that's also one of the things that really sent Rachmaninoff into a depression. Like, dude was depressed like a majority of his life, I will say that. And we kind of have that in common. But yeah, some of my personal thoughts, other than he's really hot and attractive and funny and we would have been perfect for each other, are I like his music, okay? I'm not gonna diss his music. However, I feel like a lot of his music is just like flashy piano work. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's not appreciation for the music and making fun chord progressions. It's more so like how difficult can I make this pianist's life? You know, like that's how I feel when I look at his scores. And I mean, because when I look at his scores, like I look at his score for the piano and his scoring for literally everything else, and it's just kind of like you can see the discrepancy, but also I understand, right? Because as a violinist myself, I understand how to write a violin part and a viola part. I'm not quite that great at writing a cello part, right? So if I write cello parts, they're a little bit more simplified, you know, stuff like that. Kind of upset with him at marrying his first cousin, really uncool. As you heard, I did try to defend him earlier, but I understand that I probably should not be defending him about that. I wouldn't defend anyone else, okay? He's literally just, he's the love of my life. So that's why I'm defending him. I can't believe I'm about to put this on the internet for everyone to see. That's crazy. I'm wild. I'm goofy. I'm silly like that. But, yeah, what else do I think about him? I think that he lived a very interesting life. I sympathize a lot with him. Because like I said, I've gone through some stuff in my life too, and it's kind of really hard as a musician. You've just got to push through, you know what I mean? Like you can't ever have a break because you got to be figuring out where you're going to conduct next, what you're going to write next, how you're going to make your next bag, because it's not consistent as a musician. It's hard. It's really hard. I think it might have been easier back in the day when people actually respected musicians, but yeah. So the next section is going to be me showing you an analysis of his piece. This is my favorite Rachmaninoff piece. This is the most basic thing I've ever said. It is Prelude in C sharp minor. Hey gamers, the astute of you will notice the outfit change. Yeah, it's a new day. I got too tired to finish filming, but I'm in my pajamas now, and now we're gonna go ahead and have a look at Rachmaninoff's Prelude in C sharp minor. I only did the first page because I got lazy, but if you guys like really care and like really like want to know, like you're so passionate about Rachmaninoff just like me, and you're just in love with him and you need to see, you know, more of his work analyzed by me, then you can let me know, but most people probably will not care, I'll be honest. So the first thing about my analysis is, this is just my general rule for analyzing things. I try to consider as many chord tones as possible. So whenever I see notes or chords, I will try my best to include all of them in the chord tone, or in the chord, as many as possible. But if I really can't consider them in the chord, then I will start talking about non-chord tones, okay? But just so you know, that's why you'll see, like, I won't circle some things that you might not recognize as part of the chord, okay? I also didn't do all my inversions. That was just me being lazy, guys. I'm sorry. If y'all care enough, I will go back and do the inversions. So let me start screen recording on my iPad. So the first thing I want to show you guys is I've written out every single chord in the I've written out every single chord in the scale. So this is the C sharp minor scale. So we're going to start with the 1 chord. That's the 1 minor, okay? It's a minor chord. Then we're going to go to the 2. The 2 is diminished now because, as you know, in the major... Oh, I'm sorry. This assumes that you know anything about music theory. If y'all need a video on music theory, let me know. But, yeah, in the major, it is a minor chord. In the minor scale, it is diminished. Then we're moving on to the 3. The 3 is now a major chord, guys. I know. Crazy. Followed by the 4. The 4 is going to be a minor, I think. I'm pretty sure. The 5 is also going to be minor. The 6 is going to be major, and the 7, which is now major. You'll notice that on this page I also included the 5/7 of the 4 because we do encounter that, and I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I had that right, like as the right chord. So yeah, now we're gonna move on to the first page of Prelude in C sharp minor, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about it. So I asked my friend Thomas to comment on what he thought of the opening chords. Here's the opening chords again for you. And I found it funny because he commented that it felt strange, okay? And the first time I heard it, I was like, that was revolutionary. That blew my mind. I was like, whoa, what is going on? I felt emotional. I felt everything the first time I heard those first 3 chords in Prelude in C sharp. So trust me, I'm saddened that I have to be the one to tell you it's not that deep. It's not that deep. For you see, what Rachmaninoff has done here is just the 6-5-1. Okay, and maybe back in the day, it was revolutionary, right? I'm gonna say this, because most of the music I've looked at has been like way back when. This was like before Rachmaninoff's time. So the 6-5-1 wasn't really like around in that time, but maybe he's the one who popularized it. I don't know. We would have to delve so deep into music history. If that's something you guys would be interested in, I would do it. But yeah, maybe he's the one who made this, right? Like he's maybe the one who really came. He hit the ground running with the 6-5-1, and everyone was like, "Yeah, do that." And but nowadays the 6-5-1, it's pretty common, okay? But I thought it was so unique, and I thought it was special at the time before I looked at the analysis. Moving on, we've got the 3 chord, which also wasn't really used like in the music that I study. What do we call it? We call it like common, like whatever. I don't remember. Don't flame me. But yeah, the 3 was always a really weird chord to play around with because it's one of those weird chords. It's like the 1 is the dominant, and the 6 serves a dominant function as well. The 3, I mean, the 2 is the predominant, the 4 is the predominant. You know, you can use the 5 or the 7 for the dominant, but the 3, what does the 3 chord bring to the table? That's the real question. But going back to like the uses of those chords, I guess it kind of gives you this those opening 3 chords. It gives you this kind of unsettling feeling, right? Because you start on the 6, and the 6, like I just said, serves the tonic function. And so you're like, okay, we're at home base right now. And then he hits you with the 5, and you're like, hold on, wait, no. So what's going on now? Because if we were at home base, then why are we, what's this about? And then he hits you with the 1, and he lets you know where home base really is, you know? But moving on that note, we've got that followed by, guys, so I'm dyslexic, so sometimes my 6s and my 4s, I get confused. I think I messed that up. That's supposed to be 6. Right? Guys, I'm gonna need a reminder. Is it the I before the V for 6 or the V before the I? I think it's the I before the V. I'll correct it, gamers. Sorry about that one. you can disregard, like, if it's capitalized or not capitalized for, like, major or minor. I was just trying to figure out what it was. I wasn't really considering major or minor, especially when he has these times like this where it's just all A. Like, how am I supposed to know what he intended? You know what I mean? I probably could have figured it out if we went past the first page, but we did not. So then moving on, we've got the DFB. We've got the 7 diminished, actually. So he's in the minor, and he's choosing to use the 7 diminished, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because we got that B sharp, the F sharp, and the D sharp. Rachmaninoff, what are you doing? Like, talk to me, honey. What's going on? And then he brings us back to the 1. So that's a pretty classic use of the 7, using the 7 to take us to the 1. Then we go back again, we do a little bit more of the same, the 6, the 5, the 1. Okay, then he throws the 5, 7 of the 4 at us, and my justification for this is because we've got the 4 here, right? This is the 4. And it would not make sense to throw C, G, and B together otherwise, right? Because I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to justify where he's getting some of these notes, right? If I had an E, I would probably have a stronger argument for that being the 5, 7, and the 4. That would complete the chord. For those of you who don't know, the 5, 7 is adding the 7th. So from C, it would be C, E, G, and then next up would be B, the next third. But, yeah, I feel very strongly like he's throwing me the 5, 7 of the 4 just to go back to the 4. Getting a little bit of that tonicization in, okay. Again, I think it's very unique compared to all of the other music I've listened to, but like I said, that was like old music. That was like Beethoven, so yeah. Then we come back at it again. We're throwing some more 3s out there. We're throwing 3s out the wazoo. He has this affinity towards these chords that I never really saw used back in common time or whatever they call it. I feel like I'm failing everyone in my music department with this, but like they'll never see it. Unless they do. Hi, oh my goodness. But yeah, he's throwing out these 3s and these 2s, and you know what? I never really saw the 2 much either, okay? There's a strong affinity towards the 1, the 4, the 5, and it's funny because it's kind of similar with pop music now too. But they were onto something. But yeah, he's throwing out these 3s like crazy. Then he's got some 2s, and then he hits us with a little bit of a pedal here. I can't believe I didn't write that pedal in. I did write it in later, though. Oh, no, I did write it in there. It's just down there. So that's the 5 pedal. So essentially what that means is he's got the 5 chord going on in the background while he plays around. And I hate him for this because he was playing around with the 4 and the 6, which is, like I said, I don't know the difference between 4 and 6 because I am dyslexic and also a little bit dumb. But yeah, it looks like to me he's playing around with the 4 and the 6 and the 4, and then he throws in the 2, and he's like, okay, I'll bring you back to 1. I know you guys love 1. Alright, not even yet, no. He goes around with us for a bit. Then he brings us to the 7 just to bring us to the 1, okay? And I don't appreciate him for this, but, you know, he do him. He can do him. Oh, and then this really interested me because now he's whipping out the Neapolitan, I think. I cannot justify this as anything but the Neapolitan. It's the flat 2. Look at this. Look at this. We've got the F sharp, so we're keeping the F, you know, as it should be in the scale. But then he goes ahead and he naturalizes the D. What is that about other than the Neapolitan? Okay, so that's the flat 2. Not named after the ice cream, unfortunately, but I think Rachmaninoff would have enjoyed Neapolitan ice cream. He looks like that kind of guy. And then he hits us with the Neapolitan, takes us to the 7, and then takes us to the 1. I don't know what this is supposed to mean, but I find it so interesting. I don't know. I like it. I dig what he's doing here. And it gives a really unsettling feeling, right? I mean, it's C sharp minor. That's already unsettling. I hate that, and I'm a violinist. And this is just for piano, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Neapolitan, 7, back to the 1, then we do a little bit of what we did before, then he comes back with the 1 pedal this time, and then he hits us with the Neapolitan, the 7, the 1, the 6, the 4, or is that the 6? Again, guys, I'm sorry. Oh no, that looks like a 7. The 5, and then he takes us back to the 6, just to get back to it. This is a really fun first page to me. I don't understand where he's coming from. Again, this may just be like the flashy piano work, right? Because, and I think that he would agree with me in making all of these chord tones, because look at the way that everything is written, how it's all blocked together. Like, if he wanted something to be like non-chord tones, he wouldn't be doing this. This all looks very specific to me. And it all looks like a display of, look at how far I can spread my hands. And look at how many notes I can hit without without accidentally hitting a wrong note. You know, that's what it looks like to me. And I love it, but I hate it. I don't know how else to explain it. Well, gamers, or should I say musicians after this one, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you liked my little ramble about Rachmaninoff. I know probably no one ever is gonna watch this video because it's about some random guy that like nobody cares about, but he's my honest and true and genuine love, so I had to do this for him. If no one was gonna share his story, I was. I put some of the sources I've used down in the description. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. If you like my content, you can feel free to like the video. That would be really awesome. And then you could also subscribe to my channel, but like I never post. Well, no, don't let me say that, because then you won't subscribe to my channel. But you can subscribe to my channel so that when I do post, you will know about it, and you can gain whatever random knowledge I feel like sharing that day. Like I said, if I like artist history, and I kind of low-key really like artist history. I was editing the other half of the video today, and it was so fun. But yeah, it might stick around. If you care to hear about other artists and you want to know about, I guess, the little bit of music theory info I can provide about them. I'm probably wrong, by the way. Don't like flame me like real musicians in the comments. I don't have a degree yet. That's my defense, okay? Don't come for me until I can get a degree, and then we can talk. But yeah, you can follow me here. You can follow me on Instagram. I cosplay over there. I never really post my music anywhere, but if you guys are interested in hearing the stuff I write, I can share that with you. You can also follow me on Twitch. I want to stream on Twitch soon. How soon? I don't know. That's why you should follow me, so that you know when I do it. Is there anywhere else you can follow me? Yeah, they're all in the description. All the links are in the description. So if you care that much, if you're that invested in me, and as a person, and you love me just as much as I love you, then you can go follow me. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you learned something new, or that you enjoyed my video, if you didn't learn anything new. Thank you very much. Bye.